Just before midnight, I had the opportunity to visit with Sky Moore, Mike Matulis, Isaiah Johnson, and Pharaoh Cooper, who were our team captains. They got over to the Rice, I guess, just before midnight, and we had a great conversation. And soon thereafter, I made the call to Shawn Elliott that I'd like to ask him to be our interim head coach. He very quickly and passionately accepted, and we're excited about all the characteristics and the integrity that he brings to this program and has for a number of years. So please join me in welcoming Shawn Elliott.
Thank you, President Pastides, Coach Tanner. I can tell you this time yesterday, I was not thinking I'd be standing here before you and becoming the interim head coach at the University of South Carolina. But what I can tell you today is that I'm extremely excited about the opportunity that we have here. Just want to thank Coach Spurrier. 6 years ago, he hired me, took a chance, and brought me here to Carolina, and we made some great memories. So, I just want to say thank you, Coach, for all you've done. To the University of South Carolina, the students, our players, our staff, we're moving forward. We've got one goal in mind. When we walked in this morning, I said to our staff, our goal is to win this week. Win today, win tomorrow, win the next day, and beat Vanderbilt. We've got a lot of great players here, a lot of great support staff, coaches, administrators. Our team is not in shambles, as some might say. We've got a great group of energetic young men that are ready to go out there and lay it on the line. I'm not sure at this point that the change is what they needed, but the change is what they've gotten to this point. And I'm going to take my opportunity, our opportunity that we have as a coach and our other coaches, and we're going to move forward. We're going to do everything we can to make the University of South Carolina proud of this football program. We're going to work our tails off tirelessly. I can promise you that. I'm not up here to say that, we're going to guarantee wins and this is going to change. But it's a great opportunity for our staff, for our team, for our fan base, and our university as a whole to come together and rally around this team and see what happens. So with that being said, beat Vanderbilt. Any questions?
Shawn, how difficult will it be to talk to the team about the game in Vanderbilt and keep their attention off of the other events this week?
It's gonna be tough, but you got to address that early. You've got to make sure they understand the goal in mind is to win. Our football team understands that winning makes them feel pretty good. They do, and they want to win badly, along with our coaches and our university. So it's important to get this behind us, move ahead, have a great practice today, and continue. It's not business as usual. This doesn't happen every day. There's going to be things we're going to have to do. We're going to have some distractions, but how we get over those distractions are going to dictate how we play on Saturday, and I think we'll do just fine.
You were at a Gamecock Club meeting this past year talking about that one day your goal was to be a head coach. Kind of how surreal is it now to have this opportunity?
Oh, to tell you the truth, I haven't even sat down and thought about it really. It's hard to say. Certainly I didn't want it to come in this circumstance, but I'm thrilled to death to lead the University of South Carolina, whether it's for 1 game, 6 games. I can tell you what, we're going to fight hard. This staff we've got a lot of stuff to us, and we're going to come out swinging. And I think this team will rally behind it. But as far as the feeling, ask me in a couple of days.
Coach, what kind of pressure do you feel following Coach Spurrier?
Oh. We're 2-4. It's a little different circumstance if you were coming in as a newly hired coach, potentially after he had retired at the end of the year. But, You know, he's a great man. He's a wonderful football coach. You know, I just want to lead, make him proud, and win a ball game for him.
Coach, with you moving now to the head role, how does that change how you guys do things on offense? Does somebody get promoted into the staff?
I'm sorry, where are you again?
Back here.
Okay.
Just who's going to call the plays? How will you structure things now that you're in the lead role?
Yes, G.A. Mangus is going to be our offensive coordinator, and he's going to be our primary play caller going forward.
Do you plan on talking to Coach, leaning on Coach, calling him at all, or is this going to be the Shawn Elliott show and you're going to go ahead with kind of your vision right now?
Are you kidding me? I mean, the experience speaks for itself. I need help. Our coaches need help. Our players need help. We need suggestions from the best in the business. And though he may step away, there's going to be a phone call or two. I mean, we're all in this together. There's no expert right now. We need guidance. We're going to have great ideas, but we're going to need to bounce them off Coach. I mean, he may be stepping away, but he's not too far away.
Shawn, how special is this considering you grew up in Camden, and also who have you leaned on and your mentors that you've kind of leaned on in this last couple of days?
Well, you know, being from Camden, South Carolina, and spending a lot of Saturdays here watching the Gamecocks play, it's pretty special. It's pretty special. You know, to say it was a dream of mine as a young kid, certainly it was. Playing in the backyard every other day. I used to fight them Clemson Tigers with my friends all in the backyard, doing it all over again, you know, pretending who was going to win. So it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Guys that I've leaned on, mentors that I've leaned on, you know, it's happened so quickly. To tell you the truth, I haven't had a whole lot of time to lean on anyone at this point, but there will be time to, and I'm going to have to.
Shawn, you mentioned Clemson, and 7 years ago or so, they went through a similar transition with an interim coach, and it panned out pretty well for him. Do you see this as an audition opportunity for you to show Coach Tanner what you can do as a head coach and maybe position yourself to be the eventual full-time coach?
Well, I certainly didn't take this position today or last evening to throw in my hat 6 games away from, so to speak. Our staff, we're going to fight our tails off. We want to be here at the University of South Carolina. I would love to be the head coach of the University of South Carolina for many years to come. But we've got a big challenge ahead of us. We've got to go out. We've got to win ball games. We've got to recruit great players. We've got to meet them. We've got to go get them. We've got to see them. And we've got to share the energy and passion that we all have as coaches to this fan base and get them back on board. That's what we've got to do.
Coach, I was going to ask you about that. As far as recruiting, I know you got to reach out to some of the guys. Have you made phone calls, and what's the plan going forward with recruiting?
Well, you know, you've got to touch base with them through phone calls and send messages. What I told our staff this morning is when we came in, I said, we've got to play a game this Saturday. We've got to focus our energy and efforts on beating Vanderbilt, okay? We've got to get in touch with our prospects, and we've got to make comments, and we've got to tell them exactly, you know, the things that need to be said. Once we go and we play this football game, we're going to develop a plan and set forth. We've got an open date coming up next week. Our plan is already being put in motion to some degree, but we've got a lot of other things that we need to accomplish before now and Saturday and see where we can go. The open week's big. It's big for our recruiting efforts.
Shawn, you said the program is not in shambles. How would you assess your talent relative to the SEC? Is it good talent, average talent, way below average talent?
I think we've got good talent. I think our talent here, I mean, you know, we've got to put a consistent game together. I mean, when you go back and reflect on our LSU game, you say a first half there, and you looked at basically 2 equal teams playing. If we'd have put 4 quarters together, who knows? Who knows? But we got a lot of hearts, and we've got a lot of great individuals that play for us, and some have got to step up. We've got to have some input and some some extra efforts from some individuals on our football team and coaches, all our coaches. It's a group effort, but we can fight with anyone in the SEC.
Mr. Elliott, what has the feedback been from the coaches, and not only the coaches but the players, that you are now, the head ball coach?
Well, I asked the coaches this morning, and they all said they were with me, so to speak. And I said, well, what else are you going to say? But we've got a great staff. What else are you going to say? We've got a great staff. We're all good friends. We're all good communicators. We all have the same interest. We want the University of South Carolina to be great. We're all on board with the plan we discussed this morning and moving forward and giving everything we got to the University of South Carolina these last 6 games. The few players that I have spoken with, it's been nothing but positive feedback. There's a lot of players on this team. I can't sit here and tell you that everyone's on board. They may all be. But from what I'm understanding and hearing, I think we've got a positive energy coming.
To follow up on the about being prepared for this moment, which again is sudden, you can't anticipate it, but in terms of now adapting to a head coach, can you talk about maybe some of the attributes you have that others wouldn't, because you worked for a Hall of Famer here, and then in your previous job you worked for a Hall of Famer up there? Is that at least worth something?
I think it's worth everything. I mean, they taught me how to win, how to treat people, X's and O's. I've had an opportunity to work for Jerry Moore and now Coach Steve Spurrier, both these guys, Hall of Fame guys. It's an unbelievable feeling to know that you can gather knowledge from 2 of the best in the business. Certainly they've had a huge influence on my background and my coaching attributes, so to speak. Without a doubt, they've molded my career, so to speak.
How have the players responded to switching head coaches in the middle of the season?
Well, after I talk to them all at 3 o'clock, I'll let you know. But we've got a team meeting, by the way, and every one of those guys needs to be there at 2:55 and not a second after, so we can get this thing moving forward. But we're going to talk. We're going to talk openly, and it's going to be a great meeting. It's going to be a good meeting. It's a meeting we all need to have and get out in the open. But I think it's going to be well received.
Coach, you've always been a guy that's lost his mind in pregame with the offensive line to get those guys pumped up. Does that mentality stay the same with the team as a whole as you move forward in this interim role?
Yeah, well, I can't fight the whole team in pregame. That would hurt. But sure, I've got to be who I am. I've got to be who I am. Intensity, passion, whatever you want to call it. Motivation, I don't know. But I'll try to deliver that to each and every group on that field, seeing if I can relay something to those guys. But yeah, I'm going to be who I am. Right.
Shawn, how are you going to balance the offensive line and your head coaching duties going forward?
That's a good question. We're going to move Travell Wharton into the offensive line position. Certainly, I will have a role in it with him as well in meeting times and other things, drills. But he's going to step in and take it. Right.
Coach, what did your wife and your kids say when they found out that you was going to be the next coach?
Oh God, my kids were asleep. My wife, she didn't know whether to cry or smile, and vice versa. But we were both. It was kind of bittersweet. Here we are. Coach Spurrier's retiring. I'm named interim coach. We shared some laughs. We shared some memories. But what we did share was she's going to be behind us. My kids are going to be behind us. And we're going to push forward and make this thing the best we can. And by the way, I just want to thank my wife for everything she's done.